Okay, now we'll discuss about how garbage collection works in Java. So the garbage collection in Java, which means that it's simply deallocation of memory occupied by the objects. So this is what will happen when garbage collection works. So objects always have some memory whenever we create it. During the garbage collection, the memory assigned for each and every object is deallocated. So before getting to garbage collection in Java, you should have basic understanding of two kind of memory or two kind of categorization of memory, that is stack and heap memory. So in general, in main memory of your PC or laptop, there are two kinds of memory, stack as well as a heap. So the stack memory only holds so inside the stack memory it can hold local variables or variables with lesser lifetime. So inside our program we used to create a lot of variables. It may be local or it may be static or it may be instance variable, right? We'll create a lot of variables, right? But in general, there are two kind of memory partitions are there, stack as well as heap. So inside the stack memory, it tries to hold the local variable. Why? Because internally local variables lifetime or the scope of the local variable is always very less compared with instance variables and static variables, right? So inside the stack memory, local variables are always get stored, and inside the heap memory, objects always stores. Objects are allocated. So whenever you create an object, a memory will be allocated from the heap section of your memory, and whenever you create some local variable inside your program, then a memory part will be allocated from the stack memory, right? So this is what happened in the background whenever we try to create some object or variable for our application. So and objects are always created during the runtime of the program. So in the runtime, memory from heap section is always allocated automatically, right? So in Java, memory allocation is automatic or by JVM. So whenever we try to create an object or whenever we try to create some local variables, the memory is always allocated at the runtime. So your JVM will do that job for you, right? So apart from that, so whenever we create an object, we'll keep on adding memory inside your main memory or inside your heap section, right? So there should be certain way to deallocate the memory occupied by the objects, right? So the deallocation of memory occupied by the objects done by garbage collector. So this is a job of a garbage collector. So we always tends to allocate memory from the heap section for the object. At some point of time, whenever an object is unused or when an object is dereferenced, you have to ensure that the particular memory is deallocated so that you can effectively utilize the memory, right? So the garbage collector is handled. It is handled by the JVM. So the garbage collection is automatic. The garbage collection is automatic and handled by JVM. So JVM will try to deallocate the memory which are occupied by the object with the help of a background thread. We call it as a garbage collector. So this will happen in the background. Apart from that, so as I told that garbage collection is an automatic process, but in some cases if you want to manually invoke it, or if you want to manually deallocate it at some point of time in your application, there is a provision also there in Java. So actually why do we want to deallocate the memory, right? So whenever an object is dereferenced, it should be garbage collected. So what is mean by object dereferencing? So object dereferencing, which means that some point of time the reference to the particular object is no longer used, or sometimes explicitly we assign some objects into null, right? In that case the particular object is dereferenced. For example, I have a string with a name. So this is how we create string in Java, right? So here I have created a string and name is an object reference, right? How we can dereference it? Suppose at some point of time if you assign it is null, right? Or if you assign some different name, right? Suppose if you assign it some different name, what will happen? The reference to this object is dereferenced now, right? So either you can assign it is with null. In that case, the object contains that content arrow is dereferenced in this line, right? Otherwise, you can refer it to some other string. Here name is referring some different new string, right? In that case the previous string is dereferenced. So whenever a scenario comes like that, whether you assign the reference of the string into null, or whenever you assign the object as null, object reference as null, or whenever you assign object with a new object, then internally you are dereferencing it. In that case your garbage collector picks those dereferenced object and it performs deallocation, right? So now we'll demonstrate the garbage collection, how it is being executed at the background with a sample code, and I will show that some practical scenarios where deallocation is happening, right? So I'm going to have a separate class garbage. So I have to create a class. So I'm going to create a class garbage demo, right? So here I would like to create some n number of objects so that I can make you to understand what is dereferencing. Then we'll ensure that how the dereferenced object is being dereferenced by the garbage collector. So by default the garbage collector is an automatic process. Apart from that, if you wish, you can manually invoke the garbage collector also. So I'm going to have a main method, right? So here I'm going with a simple string, right? In the next case I'm assigning with a null, right? Now in this line I would like to print name, and after that null reference I would like to print the name reference, right? Now we'll look at the output. So here in this line the name is referring the object which contains the data arrow, and here we are dereferencing it, right? After this line there is no other way to access the data arrow, you cannot access it, right? So in this line we are dereferencing object, So here dereference the object arrow, right? So here you have dereferenced the particular object. So at this line the object arrow is object is eligible for garbage collection, right? So now the object is eligible for garbage collection because we have simply dereferenced it, right? So either you can explicitly dereference it. So here we have done the explicit dereferencing with the help of null reference. So similarly, for example, I am going to create an object for the student. So I have created a student object, right? Now I am going to create one more object. So s is equal to, or I am going to create another object s1. S1 equal to new student. So here now we have created two student object. Now I'm going to make a small change in the code. S1 equal to yes, right? What we have done here, we have taken the reference of yes and we have assigned with s1, right? Now I am trying to print s1 and s2. So s1 and s2 are references to the objects, right? So if you look at the address of both the objects, so here student is a class and this is the address, so both the reference is pointing out the same address, right? Now but in this line we have created two objects, right? So I'll try to demonstrate which object we are referring. So after that line I'm going to print s1 and s2, right? So the first address is address of object reference yes, this is s1, right? But in the last two lines what happened, we are retaining the first object reference and we have modified the second object in that case. So which means that this object is dereferenced. Why? Because s1 and s will be referring the object of yes, object reference of yes. Here s1 is dereferenced, so this object is dereferenced, right? So in that case the object reference s1 is pointing out an object which is eligible for garbage collection. So in this code, object reference of s1 eligible for garbage collection, right? So far we have created so we started with an object of string class. So here we have created a string class. Explicitly I am referring it as null. In that case you cannot access back the actual content arrow. So in that case you are dereferencing the object, and in this line the object is eligible for garbage collection, right? Similarly here we have created two objects s and s1. In this line s1 is pointing out yes. In that case, in the earlier s1 holding the separate memory, separate object, s is holding the separate object, but in this line s1 and s is referring the yes object reference yes. So the object reference of s1 is eligible for garbage collection, right? So whenever an object is dereferenced, your garbage collector will always look up the heap memory and it will always try to find out what are all the objects are dereferenced, and those dereferenced object is automatically deleted by the garbage collector. So this is how memory is managed in Java with the help of automatic garbage collection, right? So apart from that, if you wish, you can manually invoke the garbage collector, there is a provision also there, right? So we will see how to invoke garbage collection manually. So for invoking garbage collection manually, so manual garbage collection. So for invoking manual garbage collection in Java, there is an so there is a class runtime. So you can create a reference for the runtime class. So with the help of get runtime, so here we are manually creating the reference for the runtime system. So with the help of runtime object reference, you can able to manually invoke the garbage collection. So there is a method GC. So this GC method will invoke the garbage collector manually. So wherever you want to invoke the garbage collector, you can simply create the reference for the garbage collector, then you simply put it as r.gc, right? So this is for manually invoking garbage collector. Why we go for manual garbage collection in the sense, because the automatic garbage collector can be invoked at any point of time. We cannot predict the execution of automatic garbage collection, but still inside your application, if you want to invoke it, the garbage collector manually, you can go with these two lines. You create a reference for the runtime, then you invoke the garbage collection, right? So if you could remember, during the object class discussion, we discussed about the method finalize, right? So the finalize method will be invoked every time whenever an object is deleted from the memory. So we discussed certain things about finalize method in object class in our weekly session, right? Suppose if you want to execute certain set of code before deleting your garbage, before deleting an object from the memory, you can go for finalize method. So in manual garbage collection, if you want to run certain statements, before deleting an object from memory, so in garbage collection, every time, so it is manual as well as in automatic also. So if, in case of manual, if you want to run certain statement before deleting a particular object from the memory, so that is possible with the help of finalize method. So we already discussed about finalize method, right? So what are the possible set of statements we are able to write inside the finalize method is, you can able to close the file handle. For example, if you are working with a file, you are reading data from the file, and at some point of time you wanted to delete the object of the particular file handle. In that case, before deleting the file object, you have to close the connection, right? So the closing the file, which is an important task before deleting. So closing the file before deleting file object, so that is a job you have to do. And closing the database connection, close database connection before deleting an object. So these are all the certain tasks you should carry out before deleting it from the memory. I have given certain example. Likewise, you will be finding a plenty of tasks before deleting an object from its memory, right? So likewise, if you want to perform certain task before deleting it, you can put it inside the finalize method. So the effect of finalize method is, so the finalize method will always be invoked before deleting an object, and inside the finalize method you do some logic, right? You do some logic, and the logic may include closing the file or closing the database connection, so that the object is deallocated in an efficient way, right? Now we'll go back to the previous code. Now here we are manually invoking the garbage collector. So in a given code, how many object is eligible for garbage collection? So the object, this is eligible for garbage collection, and object S1 is eligible for garbage collection, right? So here there are two objects are eligible for garbage collection. Okay, now we'll see the example code for working with the finalize method. Now I'm going to create a separate class to represent finalize methods functionality. So I'm going to create a separate class finalize method, and I'm going to have a main, and here I would like to create an object for the student class. So student S1, S1 equal to new student. So here I have created an object for the student class. Now S2 equal to new student. So here I'm going to create an object for student class S1 and S2. So now we have two objects, right? Now I'm going to manually going with invoking garbage collector. So I'm going with the runtime class. So runtime dot get runtime, which gives you the reference for the runtime class. Then here I'm going to refer S1 equal to null. Then I'm going to refer S2 equal to null, and here I'm going for invoking garbage collector, right? So here we have dereferenced S1 and S2, so which means that S1 and S2 both are eligible for garbage collection. So in this line, garbage collector will be executed, and which deletes the memory occupied by both the objects, right? So apart from that, you have to attach the finalize method. So here we are working with the student class. So inside the student class, you should write your own logic for the finalize method. And every time an object is deleted from the memory, the finalize method, which is part of the student class, will be executed. Now I'm going with student class. So inside the student class, which the class I have created in the earlier sessions. So we have two properties, roll number and department, and I have a display method which is going to display roll number and department, and inside that I'm attaching the finalize method. So inside the finalize method, you can put your own logic, like closing the file handle, closing the database, or whatever the logic you wanted to execute, you can put it inside finalize. So the finalize method will be always executed before deleting an object of the corresponding class. Now I'm going to rerun the code, and we will see the output of the code. Here if you look at finalize method is executed once, and here finalize method is executed again. Why? Because here we have two objects, both objects are eligible for garbage collection. So the garbage collector will start deleting object S1. So before deleting object S1, this will invoke the finalize method of the student class, and here object S2 is eligible for garbage collection. Now the garbage collector is executing finalize method for deleting the second object. So here two times the finalize method is executed because we are deleting two objects from the memory. Suppose if you here I would like to make a small change, S1 equal to S2, right? In that case, the second object is eligible for garbage collection because we are dereferencing it. Why? S1 and S2 is referring the same object reference. Now the one object is eligible for garbage collection. So now the finalize method is executed only once. So we'll look at the output. So here the finalize method is being executed only once, because out of two objects, one object is eligible for garbage collection. So S1 is referring S2, and S2 is already referring S2. So the S1 object is eligible for garbage collection, right? So this is how inside finalize method you can have your own logic So the finalize method is always executed before deleting the corresponding object from its memory.